Just think on that and pray on that, because I want to encourage you to know and understand something that Charlie knew and understood so deeply. He knew that evil wins when good people stay silent. And so for the rest of my life, I will make sure that I don't stay silent. I'll keep speaking the truth.
During a trip to Israel, the speaker mentioned being there on a pilgrimage with their mother when something unusual happened. They turned around and saw a familiar face, someone they immediately recognized as Erica Kirk. What seemed like a harmless coincidence soon began to unfold into something far darker. Online, people were calling it the Erika Kirk Israeli honeypot story, and with each new discovery, it appeared to grow more sinister. Some even began to suggest that Erika's emotional displays in public, those visible tears at memorials and interviews, might not have been genuine at all. The internet started speculating that the tears were intentionally staged, an act to manipulate public sentiment and hide something more disturbing. Commentators claimed this story was no longer a simple personal tragedy but something that could impact generations. People began questioning whether Charlie had ever realized what he was stepping into when he married Erika. To many, it seemed like he had believed in a perfect love story, something faded and wholesome, when in reality, it might have been a carefully orchestrated move. That once romantic story was now beginning to resemble a political thriller. Even those who once admired the couple began asking if the so-called job interview turned date turned marriage had ever truly been a coincidence. Erika herself once said that nothing in life happens by accident, a phrase now being revisited with new suspicion. As theories spread online, many began suggesting that Erika's introduction into Charlie's life might have been anything but random. According to these claims, she was intentionally positioned near him to shape his image, influence his decisions, and perhaps serve as a connection between him and powerful figures. Social media became flooded with discussions about a honeypot theory, hinting that Erika might have been tied to wealthy backers with deep links to the same donor network supporting Turning Point USA. Observers noticed that every time she became involved in an event, subtle but troubling changes followed. People within the organization were quietly removed from their positions, replaced by unfamiliar faces. These newcomers never seemed to make noise. Instead, they hovered in the background, observing and making small but deliberate adjustments. Reports described odd behavior, requests for background checks on already cleared volunteers, rerouting of internal communications through unverifiable systems, and unexplained access to attendee lists that didn't concern their roles. According to insiders, Erika had begun acting as if she were already the head of the organization, giving orders and making executive decisions even before Charlie's passing. Her actions made people deeply uncomfortable. This was particularly unsettling given that some of the high-profile donors she interacted with were the same ones Charlie had been clashing with in the months before he died. Those close to him said he had grown increasingly frustrated by manipulation and pressure from powerful figures behind the scenes. The timeline of events only added to the unease. The supposed job interview that quickly turned into dating, followed by marriage, and then, almost immediately after Charlie's death, the announcement that Erika would take over as CEO. Many found the transition unnervingly smooth, as if the plan had been prepared long before. Even during a podcast interview, Erika had repeated her mantra that nothing happens by coincidence, further fueling the theory that her relationship had been part of a larger agenda. Then, leaked private messages surfaced online. In one of them, Charlie reportedly told his sister that he no longer recognized the woman he had married. He wrote that she was treating him in ways that felt repulsive and that she had even accused him of being an anti-Semite. He lamented that his moral character was being attacked, not his choices or leadership decisions. That single message sent shockwaves through followers who began wondering what had truly happened between them and what might have been going on behind closed doors. Friends later revealed that Charlie had confided in people close to him about how drastically Erika's behavior had changed over the past year. He allegedly said that the woman he had once loved was turning into someone entirely different. At one point, during what was supposed to be their first professional meeting at Bill's Burgers, the interaction shifted unexpectedly. Erika recalled that she went in expecting a serious business discussion. 4 hours, Charlie questioned her on philosophy, politics, culture, religion, and economics. Everything he was known for discussing publicly. When the intense conversation finally ended, he told her he wasn't going to hire her but that he wanted to date her instead. What had begun as an interview transformed into a personal connection almost instantly. As months went on, people within Turning Point USA began noticing worrying changes. Friends said Charlie became frustrated as Erika started assuming leadership roles without being asked. She was reportedly making decisions, issuing instructions, and acting as though she were already running the organization. A former insider later confirmed that this behavior had been causing serious unease among staff members long before Charlie's death. They described Erika's conduct as strange and strategic, almost as if she had been positioning herself to take control of his influence and authority. Each time she appeared at an event, there were subtle but noticeable shifts. Staff members were replaced, communication channels were altered, and decisions seemed to bypass traditional chains of command. Familiar faces disappeared without explanation, replaced by individuals no one could identify. These changes were quiet and calculated, and many within the organization began whispering that this was no longer about a marriage. It was about control over Charlie's entire legacy. Erika's growing involvement with government-connected projects only added to the tension. She was reportedly building ties with entities such as Homeland Security and the Department of Defense, often through business partners already established in those circles. The convenience of these connections raised further suspicion among observers. It became clear that whatever was happening inside the organization extended beyond typical leadership dynamics. Insiders started to believe that the shifts within Turning Point USA were not random adjustments but deliberate maneuvers meant to consolidate influence. To those watching closely, it appeared as though every move was designed to look ordinary while quietly reshaping power from within. Many of Charlie's longtime colleagues said it all seemed orchestrated to go unnoticed until the changes were too deeply rooted to undo. What had once looked like a promising union between two passionate individuals now appeared to some as a gradual and methodical transfer of control. As more people started digging into Erika Kirk's background, suspicions only deepened. Those closest to the situation revealed that even from the beginning, not everyone in Charlie's family was convinced about her intentions. In particular, his mother, Mary, had reportedly felt uneasy about Erika from the very start. She told friends that something about Erika's energy never sat right with her, as if there was an invisible force surrounding her presence. Mary suspected that their relationship, from that first supposedly random meeting to the whirlwind marriage, might have been carefully arranged by individuals with power and wealth who wanted to maintain influence over Charlie and his growing platform. According to insiders, Mary believed that certain donors and high-level supporters were starting to worry that Charlie was becoming unpredictable, no longer willing to follow their expectations. Not long before his death, he began publicly questioning internal decisions and pushing back against the pressure he said he felt from these same influential figures. Those who had worked alongside him noticed that he had become less tolerant of manipulation, more vocal about the compromises he was being asked to make. That, according to some, was when the real tension began to rise. When all of these fragments are pieced together, a strange and unsettling picture starts to form. On one side was Charlie, challenging the donors and standing firm on his beliefs, and on the other was Erika, already taking over key responsibilities and giving the impression that she was the new voice of leadership. People inside Turning Point USA were taken aback by how confidently she moved into this position, often making decisions that should have gone through Charlie but instead came directly from her. She appeared to be transforming into the public face of the organization right under everyone's nose. That shift led to even more speculation online. Many began suggesting that Erika had been deliberately placed in Charlie's life by the same people he had started pushing against. To some, it looked like a strategic partnership disguised as a romance. Others simply called it suspicious timing. The biggest clue, however, was always how they met. The official story was that their paths first crossed in the year 2018 at a dinner in New York City, where Erika was supposedly being interviewed for a potential role within Turning Point USA. It sounded like a simple professional encounter, yet the more people looked into it, the less sense it made. Erika later told a story that added another strange layer to the narrative. She said she had actually seen Charlie once before that dinner, completely by coincidence, at an airport while she was traveling on a spiritual pilgrimage with her mother. She claimed she didn't know who he was at the time, but when she returned home, a mutual friend suddenly introduced them, leading to the dinner that changed everything. To skeptics, this sequence of events felt too perfectly aligned to be accidental. They argued that if there was any truth to the theory that powerful donors had wanted someone to influence Charlie, the question became, why Erika? What made her the ideal person for such a role? Some people pointed to her charm, intelligence, and calm composure, saying she could easily gain anyone's trust. Others noted her background, which seemed to include access to social and political circles far beyond what most people realized. The deeper people dug, the clearer it became that her family's history might hold the missing piece to the puzzle. According to multiple reports, Charlie's sister Mary had always been suspicious of Erika's family background. As she began researching, she allegedly discovered that both of Erika's parents had long-standing ties to the military and intelligence sectors. While at first these claims seemed like online exaggerations, old records and interviews later surfaced showing that Erika herself had spoken publicly about her mother's career. She once explained that her mother relocated to Arizona to pursue a business opportunity tied directly to her work within the Department of Homeland Security. Erika described her as a strong and independent woman, running everything on her own. But people soon realized that the story didn't quite add up. The father, Kent, was rarely mentioned by Erika, and she often implied that he was no longer involved in her life. However, newly uncovered documents suggested otherwise. His name reportedly appeared in older business filings and defense-related ventures that few had noticed before. This revelation implied that both parents might have been far more connected to government contracts and federal operations than Erika had ever admitted. For Mary, that was the biggest red flag of all. She began to believe that the family's carefully curated image was designed to hide a much deeper connection to defense and intelligence industries. Public records later revealed even more startling details. It turned out that Erika's mother, Lori, had co-founded a large technology and defense company called AZ Tech International. The listed program research director for the company was none other than her father, Kent. Both parents, it seemed, had been deeply involved from the beginning. Later, Lori reportedly expanded her business efforts by launching another company, GTK Industries, a private security firm that worked directly with major government entities such as the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security. These were not minor contracts or small-scale operations. They represented serious access to powerful networks, the kind of connections that could easily cross paths with political organizations. The more investigators and online commentators uncovered, the more questions they had about Erika's own non-profit project, Romanian Angels. She had presented it as a heartfelt charity dedicated to helping children overseas, specifically in Romania. On paper, it looked noble and inspiring, especially since it appeared to involve cooperation with American military personnel delivering gifts during the holiday season. However, new discussions online began to highlight unsettling overlaps between the nonprofit's operations and military zones in the same region. These areas, according to reports, had experienced troubling incidents involving missing children and regional instability. To be clear, no verified evidence has ever proven Erika or her organization were involved in anything illegal, but the coincidences kept stacking up in ways that many found difficult to ignore. Critics argued that the location and timing were too precise to be purely humanitarian. Supporters defended her, insisting it was simply outreach work in a challenging area. Regardless, the overlap between her family's defense background and her nonprofit's international presence left the public questioning what was really going on. Then came another strange twist. Not long after attention began building around the Romanian Angels project, Lori suddenly distanced herself from it completely. This was shocking to those who remembered her as one of the project's most visible figures. She had previously narrated the organization's official promotional video, and often spoke passionately about its mission. Yet, almost overnight, her name disappeared from all public records related to the nonprofit. No statement was issued. No reason was given. She simply vanished from the picture. For many observers, this disappearance felt like a deliberate attempt to erase any trace of involvement before more people started asking questions. As these revelations surfaced, the story of Erika's supposed pilgrimage in Israel, the same trip during which she claimed to have first crossed paths with Charlie, began to sound even more suspicious. If her mother was still actively involved in international defense contracts at the time, people wondered whether that trip was truly about spirituality and faith, or if it was related to work in some capacity. The timeline, again, felt too tidy, too perfectly placed. By now, what had once been portrayed as a heartwarming love story between two ambitious people had turned into a tangled web of political, professional, and personal intrigue. Between Erika's family connections, her leadership behavior before Charlie's death, and the abrupt transitions that followed, everything appeared to point towards something much larger than coincidence. Those trying to make sense of it all felt that every answer only led to more questions, each one painting a more complex picture of influence and control hidden beneath the surface. As news about Erica Kirk's past spread online, public attention soon centered on the strange circumstances surrounding Charlie's sudden death and its aftermath. People noticed that Erika's behavior seemed oddly controlled. At the memorial, instead of visible grief, she appeared calm and composed, greeting guests politely and maintaining her poise. Many observers felt her demeanor didn't reflect genuine mourning but rather the image of someone prepared for the spotlight. Even the location of the service raised suspicions. Rather than holding it in Illinois, Charlie's home state, Erika arranged it in Arizona, closer to her own family and professional network. Reports suggested that Charlie's parents and sister were absent, choosing to grieve privately, which sparked rumors of deeper family divisions. Some claimed they were excluded from the arrangements, while others believed they refused to attend because they distrusted Erika's intentions. The event's tone felt more like a transition ceremony than a memorial. Speculation grew further when online claims emerged suggesting that political figure J.D. Vance might have quietly assisted in transporting Charlie's body before a full medical review. Though unproven, the rumor added to the sense of secrecy. Whenever people asked for transparency, timelines and statements conflicted. Witnesses gave vague answers, and insiders contradicted one another. It began to feel as though the entire narrative was being managed behind the scenes to maintain control. Only days after Charlie's passing, Erika was announced as the new CEO of Turning Point USA. The speed of this decision shocked many. Such transitions usually take months, yet she assumed leadership almost immediately. This timing led people to believe the plan had been arranged long before Charlie's death. Her calm demeanor and prepared statements reinforced that suspicion, giving the impression that she was ready for the role rather than stepping in out of necessity. Online investigators soon revisited her earlier interviews. Months before the tragedy, she had often spoken about destiny, leadership, and how nothing happens by coincidence. What once sounded motivational now seemed like foreshadowing. Each phrase was reanalyzed for hidden meaning, and every public appearance was examined for clues. Across social media, thousands of users pieced together connections between her family background, political affiliations, and rapid rise to power. Attention then turned toward Erika's family. Reports surfaced linking her parents' companies, AZ Tech International and GTK Industries, to defense and homeland security contracts. These were not minor partnerships. They involved ongoing government work that overlapped with the years of her marriage to Charlie. Critics claimed this blurred the line between public influence and private interest, while defenders argued it was purely coincidental. Still, the overlap between family business, political ties, and Erika's sudden control of a major conservative organization appeared too coordinated to ignore. Her family's Romania-based nonprofit, Romanian Angels, also came under scrutiny. Once promoted as a heartfelt mission, it went silent after her mother withdrew from it. Its website vanished, and there were no updates about its operations. For many observers, this disappearance seemed deliberate, an attempt to erase a connection that could invite further investigation. Behind these discoveries were whispers about internal friction at Turning Point before Charlie's passing. Some said he had begun resisting the influence of major donors, while others hinted that he wanted to reshape the organization's direction. His independence may have made powerful figures uneasy. In that context, Erika's quick takeover looked less like coincidence and more like stabilization for those who benefited from maintaining control. Further examination of Erika's professional history revealed ties to the Miss USA organization, which had once been owned by Donald Trump. Charlie's family, meanwhile, had previous connections to architectural projects involving Trump Tower. These overlapping links, stretching across business, politics, and media, began to resemble an intricate web rather than chance encounters. Each new discovery added fuel to the theory that everything was interconnected, that Erika's rise had been orchestrated through networks already in place. As weeks passed, journalists, researchers, and social media users continued dissecting her story. For every piece of evidence that appeared, another went missing. People close to the family avoided speaking publicly, and those who did offer comments only deepened the confusion with vague or contradictory details. The official version of events remained simple, but it failed to explain how so many timelines and relationships overlapped so neatly. By this point, the story had evolved beyond a personal tragedy. It had become a case study in power, influence, and secrecy. The pattern suggested that Erika's ascent wasn't spontaneous but rather a product of preparation and protection. Still, despite all the speculation, no conclusive proof surfaced. The narrative hovered between coincidence and design, fact and manipulation. In the end, the mystery surrounding Charlie's death and Erika's rise left the public divided. Some saw her as an unfairly targeted widow, while others believed she was part of a calculated plan. What made the case compelling was how meticulously every detail seemed to align, from family connections and business dealings to the timing of leadership transitions and public messaging. Yet the most telling element was the silence. Those who could clarify the truth remained quiet, leaving the world to fill in the gaps. With so many contradictions and unanswered questions, the story became less about what was proven and more about what felt orchestrated. Whether this was a coincidence of circumstance or an example of hidden power dynamics, one fact remained clear. Something about the entire sequence didn't seem accidental. And until more evidence emerges, the full truth about Erika and Charlie Kirk's legacy will remain hidden in speculation and silence.